Hello, folks. I am Stephen Reinhold with the Appalachian Adventure Company, and I am so stoked to be joined today by Manoah Ainuu. Manoah is one of my favorite climbers, lives in Bozeman, Montana. He's got a kind soul and a cosmic personality, and he just got back from a successful climb of the world's tallest mountain with the full Circle Everest Expedition. He's joining us today to tell us a little bit more about himself and that experience. And so without any further ado, let me introduce you to Manoah Ainuu.
Yeah, how's it, everyone? Yeah, Manoah here. Yeah, we finished up our expedition at the end of May, so just getting settled back into the States here and yeah, the Northwest summer, but yeah, it's been good. Yeah, climbing big mountains is like a weird path to get on, for me, I was born over in LA, so mountain climbing, especially with like the interest my family had, wasn't something that I knew about or really had any goals to get into. But yeah, going from there, moving to Washington, there's a lot more stuff to do in the outdoors, and yeah, I just started slowly experimenting in the outdoors. Started off with skiing. And then at the end of high school, I finally got introduced to climbing. At the point, I still didn't know, rock climbing, ice climbing, mountaineering, any of this stuff was like, such a big deal, and like so many people devote their lives to it, and it's a big passion. But yeah, the first time I went, I kind of had a sketchy experience. I was rappelling, and I didn't take in any courses. We were outside, and yeah, at the spot in Idaho, right on the border of Washington. Yeah, pretty much all the anchors are bolted on top of the cliffs.
Okay.
So, you like build out your anchor so it goes over the edge, but you still have to step over the edge of the cliff to wrap down. So anyway, I did that, flipped upside down and hit my head. And, I used to be super scared of heights. So, and I was really paranoid about climbing. I'd said no multiple times to my friends when they invited me out. But anyway, long story short, like, that first experience climbing, even with all that negative stuff, it still stuck. And yeah, fast forward another couple of years, moved out to where I'm at right now in Bozeman. And yeah, it's a big climbing scene out here, just doing anything outside. And yeah, kind of just started off, my love and pursuit of doing different things in the outdoors. Yeah.
Nice. That's awesome. I love the resiliency to come back from that kind of repellent accident at the start there. That probably, I'm sure that probably sent a lot of people packing not to come back, but that's cool. You came back from that. That's awesome. And then, so you moved out to Bozeman, and that's kind of, that's where you kind of got into more of the snow sports, right? Like ice climbing. And what was your introduction into ice climbing like?
Yeah. Yeah. So I moved out here to Bozeman for skiing. I'd visited out here once. And yeah, the skiing is pretty legendary out here. We have good snow, not necessarily the best snowpack, because we have all that light snow that can be facety. But anyway, yeah, I was into skiing, and in my off time, or after classes or at the end of at night, my friends and I would go to the bouldering gym. And I started going often, and eventually while I was skiing and working, I was like, oh, well, I kind of need something to do, when I'm not skiing or doing school or working. So I got a gym at the membership and got into rock climbing there, learned how to lead climb, and eventually, moved outdoor rock climbing. And yeah, some of the partners I had, through rock climbing, also ice climbed, Michael O'Connell and Mike Mahan. Yeah, we'd done like the Grand Teton and stuff together, Michael and I. So, they were like, oh yeah, ice climbing is cool. Like, you should check it out. And yeah, some people let me borrow some gear, some other friends. And, that's always one of the hard things to access ice climbing. You need like a pair of boots. A lot of people out here, that try out ice climbing have ski boots, so you can kind of use those. But Yeah, anyway, I went out with them for the first time, and even more so than, my first experience rock climbing, I was like, wow, this is awesome. I'm hooked. And,
Nice.
I was skiing like a lot of days, like months on end, before that first winter ice climbing. And after the first time I swung tools, I pretty much stopped skiing. I still skied like a couple times a week or whatever, but yeah, the days definitely switched. And yeah, that really like kicked off my love for winter and all that.
Oh, that's awesome. I've got a similar intro into ice climbing too. Some of my buddies let me borrow some gear because there's no way I was getting all that stuff just on my own just to give it a
Yeah.
try, right? And I loved it. I've been fascinated with rock climbing, but like once you get those first couple hits with the ice picks, you're kind of stuck for life on it, I think. So we actually we chase some ice climbing when it's in. We say when it's thin, it's in here in North Carolina. So that's cool.
Oh yeah.
Actually, hopefully looking to get out to Bozeman for the ice festival next year. So maybe see you out there for that.
Yeah.
But that's cool, man. So
Yeah, definitely. I'm
you,
sure.
you mentioned kind of like that the invite, the introduction, that being key, right? So how did you get invited or introduced to the Full Circle Everest Expedition? How'd you get hooked up with that crew?
Yeah. So yeah, my friend Fred, I met him at for the first time at the first Color of the Crag festival when it was going. And yeah, it was like the first, climbing festival, mostly bouldering. It took place in Horse Pens 40 in Alabama. But
Nice.
yeah, it was like, Black BIPOC festival. And, Fred and I had chatted a little on Instagram, just because I didn't know any other like Black climbers that were
Hmm.
into trad. So I was like trying to link up with Fred, see if we could put something together. Fast forward, he gets onto North Face, and we'd climbed like a little bit before that, but we linked up out here, and we just started like climbing together more. Um, and yeah, fast forward a little more, I got onto North Face as well, and Fred and I were both at the URA Ice Fest teaching there. Um, yeah, and Phil Henderson, he was the expedition leader.
Hmm.
He was also there doing a clinic. And what from he like took a break from teaching, walking around, checking in, and he sees Fred, so they go, they talk, and they're like, oh wow, nice to see you. Um, and yeah, then Phil turns around and he sees me, so we all start chatting, and we're like, dang, this is kind of crazy.
I love it.
um, yeah, where it was all a surprise to us to see like, a couple other Black dudes out there too. Um, but yeah, that kind of started off like the conversation of, yeah, we should all get together and do something, like pretty much, for the three of us and the whole team. um, we haven't really had opportunities to climb with, other Black climbers.
Hmm.
um, and like the reason, of importance, like we don't need to speak that to one another. It just automatically is like, oh yeah, this is dope, we should
Hmm.
do something, hang out some more. But yeah, I'm not exactly sure when the conversation like started leaning towards, going to Nepal and Mount Everest. But Phil, he has a really strong connection there. He's been going there for over a decade, and um, he's helped out with the Kumbu Climbing Center a lot.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, so, and he's good friends with Conrad, same with Fred and I. So we all just started chatting, and both Fred and I had heard a lot about Phil from Conrad. So
Okay.
that was cool to meet him. And you know yeah, that just started the talk. And a lot of our other friends, Dom wasn't at the Uri Ice Fest that year we all met. Maybe he was, but anyway, Dom and I had met like through ice climbing, and
Hmm.
also like connections with Conrad and stuff. But yeah, Phil, kind of just talked to other people that he had done trips with, or that he was good friends with, and said, yeah, we should get together and do Everest. Yeah.
Oh, I love it. That's cool. That's a cool backstory, particularly to the ice fest there. And what a cool moment that had to be. I
Yeah,
love it.
yeah,
I love
it's
it.
special. Yeah.
That kind of reminds me. So the first time that I got to meet you was an outdoor retailer about a year ago, at it
Yeah.
was a no so patch party, and the whole team was there, and like you could just feel the energy. It was palpable, right? I think it was just
Yeah.
it was very apparent that it was going to be the coolest story of the year, and I'm so glad that
Yeah.
y'all had a successful summit, successful climb. So now, if you would maybe walk us through that a little bit. I mean, it's quite the endeavor to get out to Nepal and even just get to Everest. So, what was that like? What were your
Yeah.
travel logistics like getting out there?
Yeah. So, speaking about getting out there in OR, when we were at OR, we were kind of just, trying to network and,
Hmm.
put our project out there, see if anyone wanted to hop on board. But it took a while. I mean, I think, yeah, when Phil, Fred, and I all met in Ure, I think that was maybe 3 years ago, maybe a
Hmm.
little more,
Oh
but
wow, okay.
um, we started talking about it and, discussing it and pitch deck and all that. And yeah, fast forward like 3 years, it was a lot of work, and the process of like getting sponsors to jump on was slow at
Hmm.
first, but um yeah, everyone was just so supportive. I mean, you especially in Black Folks Camp too. I forget the gentleman there, but
Earl,
and
yep,
even
yep.
yeah, no, so and just everyone there. So um it was really encouraging and good to see, and especially with like the crowdsourcing and all that. So um yeah, those were like the pre-logistics, that were a lot of the work. But yeah, a lot of the logistics there, I mean, all of the logistics there are taken care of by the outfitter. Yeah, so you fly into Kathmandu, and it's about like anywhere from 30 to 40 hours of travel with layovers and all that. So
Yeah.
a lot of time in the metal tube and just sitting, walking around airports. But yeah, once you get to Kathmandu, they pick you up in a shuttle, grab all the bags. You roll up to the hotel with a ton of duffels, and both times we went to Nepal, we spent, I think, at least 2 days in Kathmandu.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, just hanging out, waiting for everyone to get there, doing some sightseeing, all that, just hanging out, enjoying the food and the music and all of the good stuff there. Um, and then from there, most people that are going into the Khumbu Valley fly from the Kathmandu airport to Lukla
Hmm.
and start trekking in from there. Um, so that's what pretty much all of us did, I think. There are a few people who had to come later, but we flew into Lukla, and a lot of people have like heard about it or seen the picture with like it being the world's most dangerous airport. I think the runway is
Yeah.
maybe like 2,000 feet or something like that, pretty
Oof.
short, and it just drops off to this steep cliff. But yeah, it's a cool flight in there, if it's not cloudy, and you get into Lukla, have some lunch, and then just start trekking. And for the next anywhere from like 7 to 10 days, you trek up to base camp, with just like the best food. You stop at tea houses, you wake up, you get a good breakfast, you hike, you get some tea, then you get lunch, and then you like go to where you're sleeping and have good dinner there and just hang out. So it's like the most plush backpacking ever. Yeah.
It is amazing. What are some of the meals that stood out to you there?
um it seems like, of course, there's um the kind of Westerner influence on food, like, that sometimes there'd be like pizza or like stuff like that or whatever,
Hmm.
burgers. Um, but the stuff that stood out to me were always like the corsani, the chili peppers.
Yeah.
Um, they grow all their chili peppers there and then pickle them and stuff. And that with like pickled radish, like I would eat it with whatever. But especially with dalbat or like with the fried noodles they do. Um, yeah, it's also
Yeah.
good.
I swear those corsanis help you acclimate too. Get that blood flowing.
Oh yeah, yeah. They make you breathe more.
I
Yeah,
love it. I
yeah,
love it. That's cool. That's cool. So all right, so you've made it to base camp, and you said, um, what was it like on the expedition? You said a lot of folks kind of like recognize the crew and kind of hanging out with y'all. Is that true?
Yeah. I mean, even if there wasn't like the whole media thing, yeah, our team definitely stands out up there. Really anywhere. Well, not anywhere, but up in
Yeah,
the mountains,
I
most
love it.
spots. But yeah, a lot of people, were like, "Oh, whoa, are you guys full circle? Like, we saw your project," and there are people from all over the world that were
Uh-huh.
saying this. Quite a few people from France. There were like some people from like northern, like Scandinavia, and then Eastern Europe, and there was like a group of Kenyans that were trekking into base camp, and they like really wanted to meet up with KG, so they met up with KG.
Nice.
But just like, yeah, along the whole way, people were like, "Oh, this is awesome! Like, we support your project. Yeah, go get it." So yeah, it
Good.
was
Good.
really
That's cool.
encouraging. Yeah, yeah,
Nice. That's awesome. All right, I guess it's time to get into the climb itself. What on earth was that like?
yeah. It's way different than like most pretty much all of the climbing that I do or have done.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, this was the first guided climb that I've been on, and I
Okay.
mean, going up there, it's like guiding to the max. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
three meals a day are cooked for you. Like, there's only a few meals where you have to like either do freeze dried or take some other food up. Um, but yeah, the climb itself, it's just a lot of trekking and hiking, and of course, the whole acclimatization
Mm-hmm.
process. It just takes a while. So, it was chill, just a lot of hanging out and eating meals and talking with people, playing games, and then you'd go on a hike or whatever. Like, you'd go up and climb a peak and then come down and rest for a while, and then like hike up a little bit of to like Camp 1, and then come back down to base camp and rest. And um, but yeah, I think the whole acclimatization process was maybe like a couple weeks,
Uh-huh.
like 2 or 3 weeks from when we first got to base camp. Um, but yeah, as far as like the summit push, you start from base camp, and um, some people go to Camp 1 and spend the night there. Some people go to Camp 2 and spend the night there. So yeah, we went from base camp to Camp 2, um, and then had a rest day there for those of us, whoever stayed at Camp 1.
Mm-hmm.
Then the next day went up to Camp 3, spent the night there. And on our original summit push, from Camp 3, we were going to go up to Camp 4, the South
Uh-huh.
Col, but there was really high winds and a storm coming in, so we had to go back down to Camp 2, spent the night there, and then the next day we went back up to Camp 3
Okay.
for a better window. Yeah, then so from Camp 2 we went back to Camp 3, Camp 3 to Camp 4. Um, we got to Camp 4 kind of like early morning to afternoon or
Uh-huh.
so. Most people leave around 8 p.m. or so for summit push, so we had had about 12 to 8 hours of just hanging out in in the day, trying to get rest, hydration, food, all of that taken care of. um, but yeah, it's also important to note that the whole route from the South Col, is fixed,
Mm-hmm.
and most of the route below that as well. So, you're just sliding your sender up the whole way, and there's for the most part only one line that they're really good about cutting out
Yeah.
the old lines, but sometimes they get frozen in, and there's you know there can be like a whole web, but um, it's pretty much just like a big train, of people, and um, there are quite a few spots where you can pass
Uh-huh.
other people, but um, yeah, the traffic, is one thing a lot of people are familiar with
Yeah.
about Sagarmāthā. But yeah, on summit day we left around 8:30 p.m. and um, yeah, like we got out of the tent and you could already see a huge line of headlamps. But
Wow.
yeah, we were able to kind of, we felt good on clipping and all that. So we were able to pass everyone and all that. But, for a lot of people that are either uncomfortable or, not experienced with like being on snow or, ice or whatever without a rope, they have to stay in line. So the experience can definitely vary up there. And the fixed lines and the traffic in certain spots, no matter what your ability can definitely put a damper on the whole thing. But
yeah,
it was cool. Yeah.
nice.
Kind of rambling about all that. Yeah. So.
Oh man, that was amazing. That was a great description. I like how I like kind of how chill you were talking about the acclimatization process right in the first part there. I think that probably maybe your demeanor probably helped with that a little bit, right? Just kind of going around, being able to hang out, like you said, having food, hanging out with people. That's cool to hear it described as that. And then did you find that the crowds there, did you find that it like detracted from the experience any?
Yeah, it was good. I mean, like, the people that were there, our team, just made all of that, all good. So I know for other expeditions and quite a few people, that were climbing on our team mentioned like, not all expeditions are like this, like especially if you're with a guided company just by yourself, and you don't have a relationship with the other people, the other climbers, things can things can like go from having a great time to like being like, oh, when are we flying home?
I could see that. I could see that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's cool. How is the rest of the team doing? You talked with them much since getting back?
Yeah. We spent some time together too. Pretty much all of us minus KG, who's in Kenya, and Dom, who's in I think Netherlands right now. We all were in New York just a few days after getting back. For me, I flew back home, and then like 12 hours later flew to New York. But we spent a few days there together, and got to catch up, and then just maybe like last week or a few days ago, most of us were in Denver together as well.
Okay.
But yeah, we try to stay in touch and stuff. Yeah.
Nice. I like it. And so when you were in New York, you were on the Today Show, correct?
Yeah, we did. We tried to knock out all of the media stuff there, so it was kind of a packed schedule.
Oh, I bet. That was wild. Actually, I remember when I reached out to you a while ago, you were still in Kathmandu, and then like the next thing I knew, I turned on the news and saw you on Good Morning America, or excuse me, the Today Show with Phil and yeah, that was too cool. So you mentioned that there's a film crew, right, that followed y'all. So there's going to be a full production film about the expedition.
Yeah, it should be feature-length documentary. So they're still working on that, all the all the post-production and all that. So
oh yeah, that'll take a while for sure. Oh
yeah.
Well, that's gonna be cool. That's gonna be too
Yeah.
cool. Any idea when that might be coming out?
I forget. I think maybe sometime next year.
Next year
Yeah, I'm
or
not
so?
100% sure. I think I'm not sure if it's a tentative date or but either way, I forget the date.
Right on. Well, we'll look forward to that. So cool. Well, man, that sounds like just an incredible experience there. Talk just a little bit more about the cultural experience in Nepal. When I went there, it had the Nepali people had a big effect on me, and a part of my soul's never really left there. So what was that like getting to hang out with the Nepali people and the Sherpa community?
Yeah, you just described it well. So same here. Yeah, I mean, everyone there, is so kind and and genuine, and there's just like that trait of like service, where people are like, no, you should have some more like tea, have some more food, let me grab your bag, just all of this stuff. And that just made me feel at home, because that's kind of how I was raised up in, in LA, the Samoan culture. It's the same thing, you respect your elders, you never walk in front of them if they're sitting down and all this. And, you always serve other people before yourself. And so, yeah, it really impacted me. And yeah, I mean, the food is amazing. It's like a lot of good vegetables, homegrown stuff, and yeah, really spicy. So it's all the stuff I love. And yeah, made a lot of good friends there, from our Sherpa team, and then just people elsewhere. But yeah, it felt a lot more comfortable even in like the chaos of Kathmandu for me than it does like here at home. And it's like, yeah, kind of get less eyes over there than I do over here.
Okay.
I didn't really have to worry about like, getting pulled over or anything like that,
Okay.
or some stupid stuff. So yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Man. Well, anything else you'd like to share with us?
Not sure. Yeah, I think I'm good.
Right on. Real quick, what is next for Full Circle Everest Expedition? I know the film's coming out, but do you think there'll be some more climbs, or maybe some like guided climbs in the future or anything like that?
Yeah, I'm not too sure. I know Phil has some ideas. I think he's working on making it a nonprofit, and
Okay.
yeah, definitely, yeah, more trips with yeah, with the team or some people from the team. We've already kind of been talking, about some other stuff we want to do. So
Good.
yeah, we got the base down.
Yeah, good. Keep riding that
Yeah,
wave. That's awesome.
yeah,
Well, cool. Well, thank you for your time, Manoah. Really, really appreciate it. Congrats again on the summit, and just keep on doing what you're doing, man. You're a big inspiration for a lot of folks, myself included.
appreciate it. Thank you, Stephen. Yeah,
Right
thanks
on,
for
bro.
talking.
All
All right,
right, man.
take it easy.
Take care.
All right, peace.